Welcome, Pancakers. We are doing a draft commentary, and by we I mean I'm joined by Milky Way. Say hi.
Hello, what's good?
We will be your co-commentators for this entire league, and we will be going over each set. We'll be going over each team in this video and the rules of the league. But then we'll be going over the each battle, but each week of the battles. So in after week one, we'll eventually release another video talking and going over the battles and commentating over them.
Yeah,
Then for week two, we'll do the same thing until the draft league is over.
following until playoffs, and then
hmm And without further ado, let's get started. Number one is we have a custom Pokemon ban list, which means not every Pokemon in this is every Pokemon in existence or even every Pokemon in VGC or Double ZU.
yeah. So we're gonna be seeing different teams from normal in this league.
Next thing is this is just played in Nat decks, anything goes, but in custom battles with these rules. So if whoever doesn't appear in these rules, then it should be fair game for people to use. You only get one restricted Pokemon per team, per battle team. So each draft team can have multiple restricteds, but each each week, they can only bring one of the restricteds. So we have a move class, which is evasion moves are banned. Simple enough. And then Oko moves and last respects are also banned. We have banned those because they're pretty uncompetitive, and this is a 6v6 doubles. Now, Milky, do you know what last respects is?
Um, yeah. So it's the move that made Houndstone go absolutely berserk early meta game. So the more Pokemon on your team are fainted, the more damage Last Respects does, and it caused him to it kind of just caused him to go crazy with Power Bros one-shotting everything once it got to that point. And so that's how he got banned early on, and overall it's just a broken move, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then Ocone evasions are pretty obvious too. They're just really cheesy, so
Okay. The next one is that just R, if you see R on a Pokemon, it just means it's a restricted mon. So we will be going over the teams, and some Pokemon in the teams will be marked by R in the name. That just means they're restricted.
great.
We have the item class, which should be interesting to see. What do you think, Milky?
I think it'll make the teams more interesting, like for the metagame, because you could easily slap like the same three items onto every set. So hopefully it'll get some interesting item play with the Pokemon in this draft set. So
I
yeah, I
agree.
like it.
Yeah, I like it too. One thing I noticed is a couple of teams have multiple Pokemon that would want to use Eviolite.
Yeah. Hopefully, if you want to bring both Eviolite mons, you could try to do something crafty with the other one, or just pick one of them. It's
The next rule is just ability rules. Moody is banned.
yeah. Sorry, Bidoof.
I don't think we have Bidoof even.
Maybe the Moody band's why, but for I mean you know how he does with it. So
Yeah, he goes insane. I think we do have Octillery though.
okay, but Octillery obviously can't use it either. So
Yeah. And then the last three rules are just Dynamax, Terra, and Mega Evolution are banned. We'll see you at the first when we go over the first team. Okay, welcome back, Pancakers. We're here with Fast Lane Fritz, who is Triple Deluxe's team. Please go check him out on YouTube if you haven't. Anyways, as we can see, he has picked Latias as one of his restricteds. If I think that's actually his only restricted. It is his only restricted. So yeah, he picked Gladiators as restricted. What do you think about that pick?
We'll probably be, if it's his only restricted, we'll probably be seeing a lot of Latias then, which good reason. I didn't see Latios anywhere here, so if it's just a more defensive counterpart, then this thing will be taking a lot of special hits for sure.
I agree. I think it might be taking a lot of other hits. One thing I know about it is it does have good support moves. Like its newest move was buffed, like its signature move was buffed, I think to base 70 or 80 power.
Okay, that's good.
Maybe it's base 90 now, but it lowers it has a 50% chance to lower special attack. Of course, it still has stuff like Mystical Fire. It can hit hard with something like Draco, or even hit on the physical side with something like Psyshock. It also has dual screens and Tailwind for helping support, and it also we might also see like a calm mindset coming out from it.
Cool.
One thing I do find interesting though is this combination of Latias and Brambleghast. Because if Triple does go for a Tailwind setting Latias, then it can activate Brambleghast Wind Rider, which raises its attack by a stage.
Okay, yeah, so they'll probably be brought together a lot, especially Brambleghast. That'll what's the tail so probably seeing a lot of Tailwind anytime Brambleghast shows up. It does have base 150 attack, so if it can utilize Tailwind to get off even more stronger hits with Wind Rider, that'll be really good for this team.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so a quick going over the next two mons is they do have Quaquaval and Galvantula. Quaquaval, I haven't seen much, so I don't know how well it's gonna do in this format, but I
Yeah,
think it
I
might
know.
do pretty well.
Yeah, I know more about it in singles than doubles, but I think since it has Moxie, that's really good. It can utilize Aqua Step to raise its speed while still doing a lot of damage. So for doubles at least, I think if it can come in and utilize Moxie to sort of start getting the ball rolling for its side of the team. And I think with Tailwind support, that's going to be really good too. One thing I'm just noticing off of this team, just the three mons we've covered in general, is there's a lot of speed control, and since they also brought Galvantula is also pretty fast, but it has sticky webs too. So if Quaquaval can utilize Aqua Step and Moxie along with this team's speed control, that'll be a lot of power for this team.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. A big thing it seems like this team has is decent bulk with things like light screen, but a massive thing is very few things will be able to ever reliably outspeed. So if someone's going up against this team, I think they might actually have to play more defensively.
Yeah, 100%.
Then the next thing is Fish Suri, which has Intimidate.
Okay, that's good. I feel like Intimidate's just a big thing to have for doubles, cuz and especially cuz this team definitely doesn't want to get intimidated for cuz like mons like Quaquaval, Brambleghast, Tinkaton, they're gonna rely on having physical attacks. So them getting something with Intimidate on their team is good as well. Like you said, they're also a lot of other teams that are playing against him are kind of just gonna have to outlast it with their speed support, and at least with any mons that can counter them physically, I feel like Quillfish just off Intimidate alone will be able to stop that pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. It also seems like the only Eviolite mon on the team, which is really good.
Yeah, they Quillfish won't have to share that with anybody. I'm not too familiar with Dark Poison's resistances, but it just only having its weakness to ground is also really good as well with Eviolite. So
I
hopefully that'll
agree.
keep Quillfish on the field for long.
Yeah, I agree. One thing is that it's not actually weak to Psychic because of that dark typing making it immune. And most ground moves physical, so it's gonna get a pseudo resist to it because of intimidate or pseudo neutrality, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be really good to keep Cool Fish on the field then. And just any of its teammates, like it could even just keep rotating out just to get more intimidates on their opponents if it wants to.
One thing I'm
Um
wondering is if it has flip turn. It doesn't.
no, it doesn't. I don't Yeah, it's only got a few water type moves.
Yeah, but it does have things like Bob Barrage and Acid Spray. One thing about Acupressure, though, we might be seeing a decent amount in the tournament just because it can raise your allies' stats. Along with this, having stuff like Spikes, Taunt, and Haze,
True.
making it a bit better. Though, of
Yeah,
course, we won't be seeing stuff like Acupressure Haze.
yeah. 100%. I feel like acupressure can be a big gamble, but if it works out, then that's gonna be a huge advantage for you.
Yeah. The next thing we have is actually Bramblegrass. We've gone over it already, but a brief summary of what we said earlier was that it's going to be scary because it has high attack and it gets plus attack. It gets more attack when it gets hit by a wind move, and that includes Tailwind. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Not really.
Then let's go to Tinkaton. This, of course, has Mode Breaker and Own Tempo. A big thing about Own Tempo, why you might bring Own Tempo over Mode Breaker, is because it does just make you immune to Intimidate, which might be really valuable on
Yeah, no,
specific teams.
intimidates intimidates really good in doubles. I haven't seen how many people and like how many other teams have someone with intimidate on it, but they're the intimidate mons are going to be showing up a lot. So if you have someone like Tinkaton who could just say no to that, is it's really good for this player.
I agree. Another thing we can consider is that has a 160 power Tinkaton hammer, which is just really high damage output. So you can run this defensively and still have a decently good offensive move to back you up.
Yeah, and if you're running at own tempo, that Gigaton hammer is always going to do the most damage it possibly can because you're not going to be getting intimidated at all.
Yeah, unless something runs like Growl or Charm, or if you get burned.
That's true. Intimidate's just the most like it's the easiest way to lower your opponent's attack. So I think if you have a resistance to intimidate, then that's already good on its own. And it also gets fake out, which is pretty good for doubles. So
Yep, and it gets even more speed control in Thunder Wave.
yeah, so lot more speed control for this already speed oriented team. But
The next thing we have here is Electros. I'm not 100% sure why they picked it, but it's somewhat bulky and pre-offensive.
yeah, I think I'm not 100% sure about doubles, but I like just the variety that Electros has. It has a lot of coverage in Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Crunch. It also has both U-turn and Volt Switch for pivoting out. So with um with doubles you're going to be wanting to get your team members in and out a lot, and I feel like Electros is just really good at doing that. And Levitate's also just really good to switch it for you to be able to switch it in on ground moves, especially if you have teammates like Magmortar, Tinkaton, Quillfish who are all weak to ground. You can swap Electros in for free against a ground type that might want to hit the field to take out one of your teammates that are weak to it. So
Yeah, maybe they're gonna run it something like minus speed, zero speed IVs, so they can still have a slow pivot on their really fast oriented team.
yeah, that's smart, especially if somebody shows up with Trick Room for a Pokemon like Electros. If you run at minimum speed against Trick Room, and it having as much coverage as it does, it'll. I wouldn't call it the greatest counter to Trick Room, but it's something to have in case it shows up.
Yeah, I agree. Then the next thing is Magmortar. Now, Magmortar has Follow Me, but it's more of an offensive Follow Me user.
Yeah, I actually didn't know guess that. Does it also get eruption in this game or
It does
for
not get Eruption.
okay. That Oh, I think it gets heat wave though, which would be really good spread damage.
It
So,
gets Heat Wave, it gets Flamethrower, and I think it also gets another.
yeah,
It gets Lava
I've
Plume, but I think it gets. Where is it? What's that double hitting fire move?
um
Burning Jealousy, maybe? Yeah, Burning
oh,
Jealousy.
okay, burning jealousy could be useful. So, it just from my knowledge of it, Magmortar is just really hard hitting, and if you really wanted to, for some reason, you could also run physical moves, and it has good physical attack as well. But for for Magmortar, he's kind of just good at being this huge, special attacking cannon on your team, and he's also got pretty good special defense as well. So so if you're planning on using Follow Me on something that's about to just specially wreck whatever Pokemon he has out again next to Magmortar, he can tank that.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is Magmortar can punish things hitting it on its physical side with its ability Flame Body.
Yeah, even though its physical defense isn't great, it could still utilize that. But I think what's more important is that it has Vital Spirit because even though Amoonguss isn't showing up in this league, there's still Pokemon with Spore, and Magmortar will be really great against Spore users. Like you're gonna want to run Vital Spirit against them easily.
Yeah, and there's also a really threatening sleep focus team using summons that don't use Spore, but use really high accuracy, multi-targeting sleep moves. And I think Magmortar is going to be a crucial part of the Fry Lane for its strategy to take down that team.
Yeah, so he'll be really good with threatening those.
The next one is the Fit on the Fly Lane Fits. So this does have Follow Me, but the bigger thing is it has Tidy Up.
Okay, I remember getting that this in this gen. That's gonna be really good for opponents who want to, since it's 66, hazards are gonna be better than they would be in normal doubles. So having tidy up on Furt's gonna help with that a lot. And since it essentially gets the Dragon Dance boost off of that, because Furt's stats aren't crazy, but even having just the boost is gonna help it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing is it does get Frisk. So if you switch in, you can scout two of your opponent's items. And that's really, really good. Because if you see, let's say, one of them has a Citrus Berry, you then know maybe their other defensive Pokemon won't have that Citrus Berry.
Yeah, yeah, no, with the one item rule, Frisk is gonna be really good for this team for that reason. Because you'll know, because any Pokemon could be bringing any item at the um with how with how many items you're gonna have to bring because you have to pick 6 unique ones every single time. So with it could also give you like foreshadowing on what other kinds of sets of Pokemon may be running. So you could you could see that something on the other team has more of a defensive item, and you might see another defensive Pokemon on their team. That's well, now it's not going to have that item because of that. So it's gonna be a lot of good insight just coming from Furret.
Yeah. Another thing that we might see happen is it actually running Swords Dance. If it does it not get Swords Dance, huh? It
No.
might actually run Coil too, though. Um, because of just how high the speed control on this team is, it might not need the extra speed from Tidy Up. And if they don't think they're going to be running into very many hazards, Coil could definitely be an option for things like lower accuracy, normal moves, or even like Iron Tail to try to break through some Pokemon.
Yeah, and it also gets U-turn, which will be nice.
Hmm.
In case something goes wrong, because Bird does take a take a bit of setup to do what it needs to do. So if something goes wrong, it can just U-turn out of there for a while.
Yeah, I agree. And then the next one would be low kicks. What do you think about this?
Okay, can I see its stats really quick? Because I've seen low kicks I've only seen it be used in singles though. But it's a really strong Pokemon. Like for having the stats of like just a bug type, it still hits really hard, and I think with a lot, it gets sucker punch, it gets U-turn, which is really good. It gets parting shot, which for doubles is really good. Or it should get, okay, my bad. U-turn's still really good for pivoting. First impression is still really good. That's priority stabs for both of its types. Um, against Mons, so you know more just priority for this team. Axe kick is also really strong, which is nice.
Yeah,
So
it is really strong. Um, One thing I think goes underutilized though is the move Lash Out. Basically, especially on physical attackers because it's a physical move. Basically, what Lash Out does is it doubles its power if your stat is lowered. So, on something trying to save its partner by switching into Intimidate it, if it goes for a Lash Out, it will probably kill the partner.
yeah, that's good on it then. I don't know if we'll see that. Knockoff is also really good. Um, just like I said with the item usage earlier, if you could have Furret scout that out, and with if you find something that you really don't want your opponent to be holding, then knockoff could take care of that.
Yeah. Going back to what you said about first impression, I could definitely see a set on low kicks going into a team that doesn't have very many bug resists that has like a focus dash with swarm instead of tinted lens.
Yeah. No, just it's just really good at hitting with bug stab, especially like you said with swarm if it's just gonna buff it up even more. I think it also gets sword stance, which is nice. Correct me if I'm wrong because I've already been wrong about this guy once, but
It does get
okay.
sword stance.
No, it does. Cool. So I yeah, I think with low kicks, I mean, obviously having really good bug coverage is kind of a specific use, but for like the one team that low kicks will be really good against, it's gonna wreak havoc for sure.
Yeah, and even like teams that's not going to be amazing against is still going to wreak quite a bit of havoc because a pretty easy way to get rid of your opposing Pokemon, like your opposing opponent's speed control, is by using your own priority, which is just going to be off the table if low kicks and just sucker punch a first impression you into non existence.
Yeah.
I could see sets being something like Life Orb with like first impression, knockoff, U-turn, and then protect.
True. And I think it also gets throat chop. That I know that's also gonna be pretty like specific in use, but for for opponents who have like multi-target voice moves, that'll be good for as well.
Yeah, and if he thinks he's gonna go up against a Trick Room team, he could always also pack Taunt.
Oh, true. I didn't see that. Nice.
And then finally, he has his Aurorus he's bringing, or he might not bring, but he drafted. So I feel like on Aurorus, you might bring Snow Warning because there is two other weather setters in the tier that might cause problems if you can't reset the weather. I think most of the time you're bringing Refrigerate though.
Yeah, 100%. But, yeah, no, because Snow Warning doesn't really benefit his team that much. So, really, outside of just getting other weathers out of the equation, that's you're gonna wanna bring Refrigerate.
Yeah, and then that also gives you stab hyper voices.
Yeah, that'll be really good.
Now, I don't see Aurora's getting too much use because his team is supposed to, or not supposed to, but it seems like it's meant to go really fast, and Aurora's is a slower mon. Though I do think it's going to have some usage going up against things like Ninetales or Pelipper. Okay, this team is the Elementals, and the leader is NP Elemental. Kind of naming it after himself there, isn't he?
Fitting.
Well, the first thing they have is a Savali. Now that is their restricted. One thing really good about Savali we've found in this is it does have parting shot, it does have tailwind, and it can also just be offensively threatening in quite a few ways, so it's just very versatile.
Yeah, especially with our KS system, since Terra's not gonna be a thing in this, he's kind of the exception to that. You can bring Savali of whatever type you want. And yeah, you can't switch it mid battle, but it gives the team a lot more variety.
Yeah, you can bring a like tailwind set of any type. Do you have anything else you want to say about Savali?
Not really.
The next one we have is Magma, which is just baby Megamortar.
Yeah, I was gonna say just take everything I said about Magmortar earlier and stick an Eviolite on, and I think that'll be the same thing. Which
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say about Magma though is it's gonna use Burning Jealousy less because it is just faster. Though it will be slightly more bulky, so it will be able to take some hits a bit better.
Oh, true. It does have the higher speed stat than Magmortar, so maybe we'll get to see them face off. That'll be fun. I'm still more of a Magmortar person myself, but Magmar's still really good fire coverage for this team. So,
Yeah,
and I think it still have Vital Spirit, or does it change to something else on Magmar? Because
it does have
okay,
Vital
it's still
Spirit.
Vital Spirit, so same benefits against the Spore users, like I said before.
Next one's Girafarig. Most people would probably use Girafarig for Trick Room, even though it's pretty fast. It does have inner focus, so you can't just fake it out to stop the Trick Room. So you're gonna actually have to use something to directly beat it. And then it also has Early Bird for non sleep powder slash spore sleep conditions and saps it before those grass type sleep conditions. Plus it beats like grassy glide.
Yeah, that'll be yeah, because I'm not sure how many mons are gonna be running Grassy Glide, but just just to stop them from getting priority. And even though base 85 speed is pretty fast, I feel like a lot of Pokemon, especially now, are just simply faster. So even with Giraffe Rig speed, Trick Room would still be really nice for it.
Yeah, I agree. One big thing I think though is if you are running Trick Room, you're probably gonna be running minus speed. But if you don't want to run Trick Room, you can still run like a plus speed Jafrag.
Yeah, it could still be used for speed. Just maybe not as well as other Pokemon.
Do you have anything else to say about the draft?
Not really.
Okay. Well then, the next one's Slurpuff. Now, one thing I'd like to say is it does just have Sweet Veil, which is going to be really good because it just point blank stops Spore.
Oh, true. A lot of anti-sleeper picks here. And not only that, I'm pretty sure it gets sticky web, doesn't it?
It does get Sticky Web, and it also has stuff like Embedded Berry Drum.
Okay, that'll be really nice for this team then. I think even even though it's doubles, I think just having the speed control, since it's a 6v6 rather than a 4v4 like normal, the speed control is still going to be really important here. The Slurpup's good for that.
Yeah, the speed control is gonna be amazing. And even if you don't run like sticky webs on this, you might pair it with like the magma we saw earlier and try to get off like a citrus berry drum to with magma using follow me to get you that, and then maybe if magma faints again to you get in something like your Savali or superior, and then protect your Slurpuff, hoping they go for it while you sap with the other one.
Yeah, so it's this already good team synergy from this person.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about it?
No.
Okay. Well, then speaking of superior, that's the next pick.
Yeah, okay. I think Superior is gonna be this team's MVP easily. Contrary with against Pokemon with Intimidate and with speed control, or more specifically sticky webs, or against parting shot, like the because all you're gonna do is keep raising superior stats. Like as long as it's on the field, you can't do any stat trick.
You can use flatter on it.
Okay, that is true. I don't know how many Pokemon run that move, but but at the same time, it's draft league. You see the team with the superior, and then superior on its own. It obviously has the contrary leaf storm as well, which is going to be really nice for it. And I'm not sure if it gets anything new this gen, but that could possibly help it out as well.
I don't think it does besides the Terra Blast.
All
So I
right.
think by the way, to everyone, you can still use Terra Blast, you just can't Terra. So it's always just going to be an 80 power normal special move. One thing is this thing gets like Glare Substitute. It can do a lot of stuff. And as he said, you aren't using much speed control on it besides for Trick Room and Tailwind. Do you have anything else
Yeah.
to say about it?
Uh, no. Other than I'm just expecting to see a lot of superior this league.
Fair. Now, the next one you have is Altaria. One thing I'd like to know about Altaria is the two weather teams in this league are Sun and Rain primarily, which means Cloud9 on Altaria will do wonders for it because it's not going to be being threatened all too much by Ice type moves.
Yeah, true. Cause I haven't seen either of the weather setters yet, but just having Cloud9 is nice. Natural Cure I don't think is gonna do anything too crazy. I mean, it's another thing to kind of stop sleep. It more so forces Altaria to switch out rather than stopping it outright, but that would still be really nice to have. Especially if just against statuses in general, you could if you think your opponent's gonna try to status your team, you could swap Altaria in for that.
Yeah, and it also just gives it an extra turn versus Yawn users. Because normally what happens with Yawn is they use it, and then you have to decide whether you're going to use your next turn and fall asleep, or you're going to switch out to stop the sleep. But with Altaria, you don't have to decide upon that, because you can switch out after you fall asleep to get rid of it.
Seems a little bit more niche, but it's its ability. It'll work out. So
It's also fairly bulky, and I think it gets Kind God, it gets like a luring voice. But the other things it gets is like Haze. I think Pear Song's a good one.
and
Uh,
for doubles, yeah, Pair Song's gonna be really nice. Will-O-Wisp
mhm.
is gonna be nice.
It gets like a Wisp, it gets Tailwind. It also
Tailwind.
gets like
So,
Breaking Stripe, which lowers your opponent's attack stats.
oh, that'll be nice for doubles. Yeah.
It gets Dragon Cheer if there's any dragon types on the team, which there is.
There's only Diplin, which could be good, but at the same time they're both quad weak to ice, and so it might be preferable just to keep one of them at a time. But I could still see it working out.
Yep. It gets Feather Dance if you don't want to use Breaking Stripe, and then it also gets like Helping Hand. Incinerate could be useful if you can figure out where your opponent's items are because it gets rid of berries and gems. And like it has Safeguard, it has things to change the weather. Just a fairly good one.
Yeah,
Anything else to say about it?
not really.
The next one will be Autono.
All right. Does Audino still get Regenerator in this, or
Yes,
it
Autono
should?
does have a
Okay,
generator.
that's really nice. I feel like um for doubles, you're always going to want to have something with Regenerator on your draft. So Audino is going to be really good with that, and it's also just got really nice bulk, so it'll be a good support for that. Even though it only has 60 special attack, it could also take advantage of Terra Blast as
Yep.
well. If he really needs to have some kind of attack.
It does have Hyper Voice first thing. But yeah, I agree with that. I can run things like Encore, Heal Bell, Helping Hand. But I do think it has it does have better moves to just be a bit more offensive, such as Knockoff. Get Stomping Tantrum, which might be useful against certain teams, does get Yawn. Ally Switch is always a good one to have because Ally Switch is like a pseudo follow me. And then it gets heal post, so it can just heal its ally. This thing's gonna come in and then make something like Superior, Magma, Slurpath, Diplin, Umbreon, Porygon. Those mons just like stick around for so much longer. Even
Yeah,
Altaria, to just make them stay along for so much longer while keeping itself healthy with Regenerator.
yeah, that'll be real. Yeah, that'll be really good just to keep its teammates around. So overall, pretty good support.
One thing I've noticed so far is a lot of like these mons, like Superior, Altaria, and Slurpuff have moves they want to use, and even like Silvera have moves they want to use on 100% accuracy. But then
Yeah.
they chose Diplin.
I haven't seen too much of Diplin myself, but Super Sweet Syrup is gonna be really nice for that. Evasiveness version of Intimidate for a lot of mons that want to toss out something that might not be as accurate. It'll help them out a lot.
Yeah, I agree. This does have things like Sucker Punch and Recover just for general support. You might even run like Reflect for like a pseudo intimidate type thing. Or not even pseudo intimidate, but for like buffing your defensive prowess of your allies. Though you don't have all too much stuff you can go with. I
Yeah.
think you're always going to be running Pollen Puff though, because that can always do damage to your opponent. But you can
Oh,
also heal your allies with it.
yeah, that'll be nice. And it's Diplin can run EVLI, right? Because it evolves.
Yep, Diplin can run
Okay.
EV Light, and it can also have Infestation to trap stuff in.
Okay, that'll be good for it. So another Pokemon you can run EV Light on.
And as I just said, it has Infestation, so it can use its immense bulk to trap something in, so they can switch in something to kill it.
Yeah, that'll be really nice for it.
What were you saying before?
Oh, it wasn't anything important.
Next is Umbreon.
Okay. I think Umbreon's also going to be showing up a lot. It's this draft taking in a lot of bulky Pokemon. I think Umbreon's going to do its job the best out of all of them. Just actually just on both sides, just 'cause it's got 100 plus on both defenses, high HP, and also you mentioned Trick Room on Girafarig earlier. Since Umbreon's really slow by comparison to other Pokemon, that'll be really good for it too.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing is it does have Into Focus, so it can stop Intimidate and Fake Out going into it. And you just aren't taking this thing down in a couple of hits, especially with support from like Audino or Diplin with being able to heal it. It does have moves like Moonlight. I feel like this is going to come in a lot with things like Foul Play and Yawn to apply some offensive pressure while being able to do something like Helping Hand helping hand or heal bell to support its team. You might even see some like baby doll eyes because that has priority on it. Using baby doll eyes to lower your opponent's attack by one stage as kind of a pseudo intimidate. Of course, it has things like helping hand, mean look, typical evolution stuff. I think it's going to be doing very good. Last one's Porygon. Do you want to start off this one?
I'm okay. I'm not really sure what Porygon does. I mean, it's another Eviolite which I don't know if you want to take that item from one of its teammates though. But and Trace is pretty nice on it. I think it also gets download too.
It does have
Okay,
download and it also has analytic.
okay. So analytic might be nice for it.
One thing is this is kind of like Porygon 2, where it's decently bulky for the tier, especially with Eviolite. So I feel like we're gonna see a decent amount of this with Foul Play, Trick Room, and Recover when they want to bring Trick Room. One thing is I feel like it's a mix between do I want to bring this or do I want to bring Giraffe? Because on one hand, this is more reliable at setting Trick Room versus things that don't have fake out pressure, but at the same time, Giraffe can, and also this is slower, but then Giraffe is, yeah, it's faster, but it won't get faked out by fake out. And it also has a bit more offensive pressure with that psychic typing and using psychic.
Yeah, so this is more like an alternative to it, but so
Yeah,
we might see it. I think Giraffe is going to show up a lot more though.
I agree. They might also run something like Foul Play Thunderwave Recover, or even maybe Try Attack Hyper Voice Recover. Just trying to do as much status as possible. So this team seems like it's a very defensive team with a couple of offensive mons to play Recover. So this is probably team's probably going to be wanting to play into the long run with maybe getting rid of a couple of your opponent's Pokemon early on with something like a slow path.
I agree. I think just a lot of Superior and Umbreon are going to be showing up, and I'm really interested in seeing what this one does, just because there's a lot of Pokemon I didn't expect to see at all from them. So
I completely agree with that. This is Nimbasa PC, run by the amazing Mysterios. The first pick he has is Ninetales, which is a Sunsetter.
yeah, so this will be our first weather draft that we're looking at. And just looking at some of the other mons they have, there's gonna be a lot of sun for this draft. They picked most of their team around it. Ninetales itself though will be nice. It's pretty fast, has pretty good special defense, and if for some reason they don't feel like running sun, they could always bring flash fire, which is nice, and just it's got pretty good fire coverage for that, and also solar beam like always. So
Yeah, I would see this running like Flamethrower Heat Wave with like Solar Beam and Wisp with Protect as the final move.
oh,
I think it's doing a bit of injustice not doing with the other two ones after it. So let's do these three as a pair, and the other two are Logan Hisuri and the restricted Sandy Shot.
okay, yeah. First thing I noticed was just Sandy Shock's having photosynthesis is going to be really nice for it in the sun, especially since it's a Sunmon that has more coverage than just the typical fire type getting fire boosted and grass type using solar beam. So you get nice electric ground coverage off of that as well, and it's just boosted off of sun, and it's also being a paradox Pokemon. If this team ever needs to keep the sun down for one game, it could always run booster energy as its item instead, and there aren't a lot of other Pokemon that need to run that, so it's got pretty unique item usage by comparison.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every other booster energy mine is also restricted, so they'd already be competing for the slot of being restricted. Though they don't have any other restricteds or booster energy mines, so this thing completely gets booster energy to itself if it wants it.
Yeah, and
Um,
then Lilligant's also nice for that. Or not for booster energy, but for sun. Chlorophyll's really a really nice ability to have on it. It's pretty fast, but having the chlorophyll boost is a nice little extra just to keep it going first. And then because it's in the sun, it gets solar blade, doesn't it?
let's see. I know it gets leaf blade, but it does get
Oh,
solar, but yes.
okay. That'll be really nice for it with the sun team. And it could always just run strong physical moves as well. So
Yeah, especially since this team doesn't have very many physical attackers besides for it. Like people can easily prepare because they need to counter it on the physical side. But this thing can have it but it's not really competing much for a clear amulet slot, which is what clear amulet does is it stops your stats from going down due to other mons. It basically just gives you clear body as an ability. So it will be even harder to do things like intimidate, with the other fact that even if he's not running it with Sun, he can still run Victory Dance, which is basically physical Quiver Dance.
okay, that's really good for it then. And the item usage is also nice. I feel like Lilligant's gonna have to show up a lot because it being this team's only physical coverage. Like I feel like if you're somebody else wanting to play against this team, you should, if you're gonna bring any Pokemon that's not physically bulky, you kind of have to play around a little again. But at the same time, that's only one physical mon you have to play around. So this team's also gonna have to think about that as well.
Yeah, and another thing I find really scary is we see this Typhlosion Hisui down here. Logan Hisui actually has after you. So if you somehow get a full health Typhlosion Hisui that has Trace Specs in the sun alongside Logan Hisui, you're gonna have to be facing Logan Hisui's speed stat with Choice Specs, fire boosted, like stat boosted, sun boosted eruptions.
Yeah, no, Eruption's gonna go crazy with Hisui and Typhlosion, and honestly, he's kind of just perfect for this team being in Sun. I think Typhlosion's gonna show up a lot. Having its Ghost typing is gonna be really nice for Pokemon that want to Fake Out as well, and also just it being able to burn things with Will-O-Wisp too is gonna be cool.
I agree. It also has its signature move, which has like a 50% burn chance, and then also doubles its damage if your opponent's already burned.
Yeah, so if it erupting isn't gonna work, it can do that too. But it's gonna show up and click eruption. That's Typhlosion's thing. So that'll be really threatening for this team.
What it really seems like is this team is built around these 5 Pokemon, and then using one of the other 3 Pokemon as more of a supporting option for the team.
Yeah, these five are gonna be like showing up pretty frequently. I think like they're gonna be difficult to deal with. 100%.
And Togetic has stuff like Follow Me, it just does the same things Togekiss basically does, just with Eviolite.
Yeah, so that'll be good support, especially if you're trying to keep Typhlosion at full health to keep eruptions going off, and it can follow me for that.
Yeah, or if you're trying to set up Sword Stance or Victory Dance on Logan Hisuri. So, going on to the last 3 months, what do you think about Geraldon on this team?
Um, okay, I'm not too sure about Duraludon and doubles, but just having a tanky steel type is pretty nice. Dragon's also pretty good with it. It doesn't have to worry about another fire type showing up and dealing damage to it because Steel Dragon it only I'm pretty sure it's only weak to ground and fighting if I'm right. That's correct me if I'm wrong. Um
It is ground and fighting, but it's also just kind of weak to special moves.
yeah, I feel like you have other Pokemon to cover for that. So Stalwart's also pretty nice if you're just because Follow Me is really big for doubles. So having a Pokemon that doesn't really care about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. This thing doesn't have very many supporting moves that I know about. Like, it has Reflect Light Screen, has Thunder Wave, and it has Breaking Stripe along with Snow. So it could just be really good damage control with like Breaking Stripe and Snow. But
Yeah.
what I really see this doing is running like Eviolite, Flash Cannon, maybe Draco Meteor with like Body Press, Breaking Stripe or Snow, and then like Protect in the last slot.
Yeah, that'll be nice to have for this team because it's mostly I think it's got coverage that the team doesn't already have, and sometimes that's all you really need. So
I agree. Then we have Vaporeon, which is just Umbreon, but Vaporeon.
yeah. So you mentioned with Duraludon that having very good special defense. I feel like if you bring Vaporeon with this, they could swap in and out for each other a lot. And a lot of good things about it, like I said with Umbreon, this thing's just gonna be pretty tanky, so that'll be nice. And it also gets water absorbed for anyone who wants to bring water against the Sun team. Also, just because this team's pretty water weak when it comes to Typhlosion and Ninetales, so it's a pretty good partner for them.
This thing's probably still gonna be doing everything Umbreon's gonna be doing, except this also has Flip 10.
Yeah, so good pivoting for it.
Last and maybe actually least is Inteleon. Now, I don't have much of a clue why they brought Inteleon, besides because they're on a Sun team, but I do see one really scary thing, which would be really fast Specs and Tarion, with Vaporeon helping handling it and it using Surf.
Yeah, no, it kind of does just show up to be fast and do damage, but Surf is pretty nice. I'm pretty sure it also has Flip Turn, which is also another pivot option. Aqua Jet for priority, even though its attack stat's pretty low, it could still make use of that. And also, like you said with Surf, is just really nice. But if you kind of just want it to just show up and kill something, because I think that's just what Inteleon's built for, at least in singles. But you could still have it show up and utilize Sniper with a signature move.
Yeah, part of the good thing about signature move is that it can't be redirected.
Yeah, that's true. So it's kind of just here to be a good high-powered water Pokemon. So even though it might not be, even though it's definitely not the best Pokemon on this team, I think it's still something to look out for. I think this team in general is pretty well rounded.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's fairly well rounded. One thing I'd like to say though is every other team has more mons than it because Mistrios picked like pretty high tier mons exclusively, so they ran out of points before they could fill every single slot they could have filled.
Oh, true. So yeah, it means less options, but it also just means you're probably gonna have a more solid team even if you have less to build with. And that does give, at the same time you might just have a better team, but you also have to look out for opponents who, because they're just going to see that you have less mons and know exactly what to build for, compared to something else where you have to consider the
Yeah,
fact that that they might possibly throw out a surprise bird at you from nowhere.
yeah, I agree. And the big thing is like if you plan for only Sun, like a Spec Surf and Tarion might be able to take out over half your team. So you do need to prepare a little bit more for that. But even if this team goes like into a losing matchup because the person prepped for like exclusively Sun and you bring exclusively Sun, you just have so many good mons that you aren't going to be just at like an outright super disadvantage.
So it's a trade that I think for this team could be worth it. I mean, we'll have to see when the games actually start, of course.
Yep, I think this is going to be a pretty easy one to pilot, especially for Mistralios.
Yeah.
Okay, this team right now. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Here, this team is Last Paradise, and its leader is Dark Luck. Okay, the first thing they've picked here is Executory, which is one of the restricted.
Circuitry, just off the bat, it has really high special attack and it has beast boost, which is pretty crazy already. Just really good electric type coverage in that part, and honestly, you can kind of just stack any special move that it gets onto it, and it'll be really nice for that. Also, it'll also be pretty good for paralyzing things. But I think with circuitry, you mostly just want to go for damage.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be really scary to teams that don't have a ground type or a grass type because it can just get off its unrestricted electric moves. We're going to do Persian Alola. It has fur coat, and some things that notable things it has is it's really fast and it has things like fake out potting shot and like dark pose. So it can lower stats while switching out. It can also do things like stop something from attacking with fake out and then have a chance to stop something from attacking with dark pose, along with doing fairly good damage.
Yeah, so just nice little mini utility knife for the team. I think that'll be good for also having circuitry out in the field, because with circuitry already just being high power, you kind of just need something that can do a little of anything else.
Then we have Masquerain. Now, Masquerain is ultimate speed control because it has Sticky Web's Tailwind and Icy Wind and Electro Web. But then it also has Intimidate.
That'll be really nice for it, especially just because looking at some of the other mons this person has, they're not really as tanky as the other teams, so it'll be nice to have some more insurance on them to keep keep him from getting absolutely decimated by whatever physical attacker shows up. And then it I think it also gets bug buzz, so that'll be nice.
It
And
does get bug buzz, and it also has
o-
quiver dance.
okay, so that'll be nice. It's probably gonna be it's better for playing support and for speed control. But in case you feel like pulling out a little surprise, you can toss out quiver dance as well and have it possibly get a few kills up for this
Y-
season.
yeah, and it also has struggle bug to lower special attack too.
That'll be really good for it. So just a second utility knife to stick next to Persian's utility knife already.
It seems with their team that a lot of their mons are heavily, like a lot of their non-restricteds are heavily suited to supporting their restricted or whatever
Yeah,
restricted
I'm
they'll bring.
I'm seeing Spectre here. I think they just want those really high powered restricteds, and I also guess non restricteds. There's a few that are just huge powerhouses, but Spectre is just compared to what I've seen on everybody else. That plus circuitry, just two really giant threats on this team. Especially with Grimnay, it wouldn't be very hard for this team to snowball into winning with Spectre, just because of how fast and how strong it is.
Yeah, it really, like, remember you only can bring unrestricted, but also no matter what restricted they're bringing, they're always going to be having a pretty high power.
Yeah,
So, like, if you need some more crowd clearing options, you're probably bringing circuitry, while if you want more single target damage, you're probably bringing Spectria.
yeah, I agree with that, and I think it doesn't really matter which, or no, it obviously does matter which restrictor you bring, but either way, this you're still gonna have a threatening team with you no matter what.
Then the next one is actually Alcremie, which seems like it's gonna be really good with both Spectria and its circuitry because it has to move Decorate, and then it can also have stuff like Dazzling Gleam and Recover.
Yeah, that'll be nice paired with Spectre, just for any dark types that want to show up and try to contest with Spectre. It'll be good for countering that. It's also nice in bulk just to have, since the rest of the team so far hasn't really had as much, so it could switch in and take a hit for one of the two restricteds. And alongside of it, it's a nice support to have out at the same time.
Another thing is it has a multi-tool of abilities with Aroma Veil and Sweet Veil, where if you're fighting someone who has sleep, you can just go Sweet Veil. And if you don't want to be able to be like taunted or encored or something, you can always just use Aroma Veil.
Yeah, that'll be really good with it. And I feel like with doubles, you're gonna want to be bringing a lot of moves that like that. So it's kind of just good to stop any like weird plays like that from happening against you.
Jump Puff is a really good one. It's been used in the format before. It's in a weird niche of it having Rage Powder. It's the best user that has Rage Powder and Tailwind. It gets outclassed though by Parasect and Genotic because it just doesn't have a very good sleep move because it has sleep powder. Well, yeah, 75% of the time you will sleep them. There's always that 25% chance you just do nothing with your turn.
Yeah, I feel like it's got the focus blast effect written all over it. Like it it does have 75% accuracy, but that's still a lot of missing that it's gonna do. It's not nearly as reliable as someone with Spore.
Yeah, and the like cooled up utility of Rage Powder and Tailwind can be useful, but it's not always useful is the big thing. Though I
Yeah,
do see like a scenario where like jump left rage powder while circuitry like tail glows before jump left then tailwinds and just lets circuitry like discard shards kill it to get another boost.
yeah, that'll be good. And even though this team already has like really fast mons like Spectre, it could help Pokemon like Emboar who aren't nearly as fast with Tailwind, and even Circuitry
Yep.
would appreciate it. So
Yeah, a big thing I'm seeing is the next two is Malma and Embor, which have kind of mediocre speed stats. And same with Zekachi. Jump Fluff is really gonna help soar up their speed so they won't just be outsped by everything.
Yeah. And I think on a Pokemon with such high attack like Emboar, that's gonna be really good.
Yeah, Embo actually got close combat this generation.
Yeah, that's really nice for it. It's just really strong and it's not super bulky, but it is have good HP, which is nice in comparison to a lot of other mons uh, that this person's running. So
It does need that HP to fire off things like Flare Blitzes, but that's still fine. And it also has Reckless just for extra damage on its Flare Blitz. Another thing is like they have Malamar too with contrary Uno reversing those intimidates, and which is going to be scary, especially since it's probably going to be running something like superpower with knockoff, along with being able to have topsy turvy, which swaps the stat changes on the Pokemon it uses it on. So if Embor uses close combat 2 times, it can topsy turvy the Embor, giving it +2 in both defenses. Or if
yeah,
someone tries to do something to lower Executree's or Bactria's special attack, or if something intimidates Embor, it can always topsy turvy them too to reverse those stat changes back.
yeah. So I think it'll be the most useful on Emboar though. So it could run sets that don't always rely on it clicking Flare Blitz. Like it's obviously gonna always want to click Flare Blitz, but for moves that lower its stats like close combat, it's gonna be nice.
The next one's Regigigas, and I have no clue why they got this, seeing that they don't
Okay.
have any way to really nullify its ability. But
My thought was I don't know if this works or not, but using Topsy Turvy while it has slow start since it has all its stats lowered.
it wouldn't, because it reverses the stat changes like +1, +2, so on. Though that
Yeah,
would be a really cool theory.
I still think I don't know what's being planned for Regigigas if anything at all, but it would be nice to see someone cook with it though.
Yeah, like if this thing wins a game, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Especially since they have 3 restricteds, and so it's competing with Spectra and Executor.
It can do things that they can't, but it has to but like the problem is it has to get around slow start and purely because of that you'd rather just bring one of the other two, so
You have Gothorita. It has Frisk, Competitive, and Shadow Tag. All of those are great abilities. But the main one is Shadow Tag. Now I
yeah,
see this thing being used with like fake out heal posts to trap something in, to like trap in your opponent's Pokemon, and then fake something out while Spectre kills its partner.
yeah. This thing's gonna be really dangerous with its restricted. It's also just with a lot of their strong teammates. Like, I mean, you pretty much summed it up. Like, and this shows up next to a restricted Pokemon, and something on your side of the field is gonna die. That's for sure.
Now that I'm thinking about it a bit more, I might see a reason why they picked Rodriguez and Gothorita. Remember that really bulky team we saw earlier with Audino? So if this team went against a team like that, they could go Gothorita Rodriguez. And then they could trap in 2 really bulky passive Pokemon, substitute with Regigigas, and then set up using Regigigas as
Oh,
the bulky Pokemon can't do anything to stop it.
so you think they could capitalize off that? That if they picked Reggie Gigas just for that team specifically, that's that's some genius, but that's also some hating right there. That's funny. I like the thought of that though.
Yeah, like they could run like obviously substitute, but then they could have like power up punch as their last slot with like body slam and maybe like darkest layer. And then they would
Yeah.
substitute Power Up Punch until the slow start's deactivated, and then just start killing stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really good for it. Also, just because there isn't really any other way this team has to get rid of slow start. It'd be cool to see them actually get to use Regigigas for a game.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. The next is Leopard, or Liepard. I'm pretty sure they chose it because of Prankster Fake, and then
Yeah,
having stuff like Fake Out.
yeah, it's prankster. It's pretty good attack stats too. It's pretty fast, but prankster is gonna be what it's utilizing the most this draft.
Yeah, and it has things like Taunt too.
Yeah, so that'll be good to just shut down some other Pokemon on the other side for or also trying to do similar things to Liepard. So
Yeah,
or also Spore users.
I could see it using things like Taunt. I could see it using things like Snatch, Snow. It has a decently good support move pool, but I also see it like has Charm here, which you could
Yeah.
use.
I saw it gets role play. What does that move do again?
It replaces its ability with the target's.
Okay. I think I could see something it does with that. I
I
I
could,
think I I think if that's what they were planning to do with Regigigas' slow start. If it can use it on its own teammate, of course, but
it can, but it would replace Lipod's ability rather than Regigigas's.
oh wait, my bad. Okay. Never
Should
mind.
be taking their ability.
Okay, I thought it swapped them. That's on me.
I think this might have a swapping move
I
though.
know there's something that does that. If that's the case, then there's the
Yep,
answer
skill
for it.
swap.
Okay.
This can
Oh
give
yeah, no,
Regigigas contrary
okay, contrary Regigigas would kind of go
or
crazy.
infiltrator.
That'd still be nice for it. So okay, so
Even
there is a
actually
reason
even
for you.
suction cups would be good on Regigigas because that stops them from switching you out.
Yeah. So it could just stay in and keep
Keep
being
weighing
strong.
stuff
So
down, yeah.
yeah,
I could
and
see
then
a contrary Regigigas that has like
yeah, with superpower.
but like superpower like hammer and then like knockoff. You'd run hammer on so you can raise your speed stat against.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'll be cool to see then.
Yeah, so that's definitely a scary strategy.
Yeah. And then for Liepard, I think we mentioned everything. I think it also gets Snarl, I'm pretty sure. So that'll be nice for
It does. So
okay.
yeah, you are correct. That would be really nice being able to stop special attackers and being able to do their job as well.
Yeah, so I think this team's just it's got its like I think it's really good overall. I think just from having Spectre alone, that also everything else suits it nicely.
We are now here with the team Fat Panda. This one's run by Meme Cap, and let's just see how he did and what he chose. So the first two are actually both restricted: Super Unbound and Gouging Fire. What are your thoughts on those, Milky?
Um So really nice picks off the bat. Hoopa and Bound just having really high attack stats. Psychic and Dark are pretty nice types to have on it. I mean, until Low Kick shows up, but I yeah, that's base 160 and 170. That thing shows up and just kills something immediately. Base 130 special defense is nice too. Honestly, yeah, it's just got really nice stats for like there's no wonder it's restricted. It'll be showing up to mostly every game.
Yeah, I see why it's restricted. It's really good. I think the big thing is it does need speed control, like speed support. And it needs to make sure that not because if two Pokemon get in that have U-turn, it just has to switch out. Because if they both target it, it's not killing both of them. Or if something switches in with like first impression.
U-turn specifically, it's kind of just scared of pivots, but it's kind of just dangerous to everything else though, which is nice.
And it's not like you're gonna be killing in one like close combat either. Because like its physical defense isn't good. I'm pretty sure it could still survive a physical like close combat.
Yeah, it's kind of just gotta watch out for anything fast and physical, but it'll tear through everything else pretty much.
And
So
then the
that's nice.
other restricted is gouging fire.
Yeah, so this one's pretty new. He's also pretty tanky. More so on the physical side than Hoop Unbound. So there'll be good times to bring it. Yeah, Protosynthesis is also nice. Like I said with Sandy Shocks earlier, with our first team is it's gonna be the only thing taking up booster energy. It doesn't really I mean so it doesn't really have to share an item with another Pokemon. Or like it doesn't have to fight for a certain item with another Pokemon. I can just have booster energy.
Yeah, it's doing really well for itself. Especially since it does get things like Burning Bulwark, which just makes it so it has a specialty protect that can't be like imprisoned. It does get Dragon Dance, and then it also has stuff like Dragon Claw and like Heat Crash. So I would probably see it where if the thing doesn't have just really hard counters to it, it might be running something like a Heat Crash, Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance set, then with Burning Bulwark as its protecting move.
Yeah, especially if it's up against an opposing team that has a lot of physical attackers, I could see him showing up and just clicking its
Clicking
protect on.
buttons.
Yeah, burning it and burning anything that tries to.
Yeah, another thing is I could probably see this running Scarf or like Band or something, or just three attacking moves with Psychic Fangs or Stone Edge because those are really good. But Psychic Fangs actually break opposing screens.
Yeah, so it'll be good to tear through those for any team that wants to set up.
Then the next one is gonna be Mr. Mime. Its main thing is just setting up its own screens, using Fake Out and Follow Me.
So that plus gouging fire having psychic things would be nice because uh, it'll make sure that's the only team on the field with screens up, and it'll also be good for protecting the more frail sides of the team. Like it could set up reflect to protect Hoop Unbound.
Or it could Fake Out and then fast. It could fi yeah, it could Fake Out a fast, like, physical attacker for Hoop Unbound to just be able to kill.
Yeah, so it can sort of stop what it could. It's really good at helping stop Hoop Unbound's weaknesses early.
Okay, the next one would be Drampa. I think this is gonna be pretty good because it has Berserk and then also Sap Sipper and Cloud9. Again, Cloud9 will stop, weather conditions, and it's not gonna be having to watch out too much for those ice moves. With Berserk allowing it to get off like a really powerful Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, maybe Hyper Voice. It also has stuff like Roost and Glare.
Yeah, so that'll be good at helping its teammates, but also just being really strong. Especially just because it has really good special attacks for the stats it has. Like Dragon's really nice. Hyper Voice for hitting both teammates is also just really good on it.
Has Sap Sipper too, just to get rid of those pesky Spore users.
Parasect will not be standing it.
I think this even gets like Heat Wave for Parasect.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't. Oh yeah,
gets Heat.
dang. Okay.
It gets Heat
Yeah,
Wave to both attack Parasect and the partner Parasect's supposed to be protecting.
yeah. Or just other grass types that decide to show up. Or
Or breaking stashes too.
yeah. Just this thing's just got a lot of dual coverage, which is pretty good.
Then the next one would be Skarmory.
What I noticed immediately was the amount of dragon types he had drafted before this, and also Hoop Unbound. Having that's already three Mons weak to fairy, so having both Skarmory and Klefki is nice for that. Also Skarmory just
Scorching
being.
Fire is not weak to Fairy.
Oh right. Oh, 'cause fire. Having coverage for it's still nice though. Um,
Yeah.
Also just 'cause I know gouging fire is pretty tanky, but having Skarmory like being there for physical hits is still really good as well.
Yeah, and it can have like sturdy with like fast tail, or not really fast, but like plus speed Skarmory Tailwind type stuff. maybe Rock Slide, maybe Brave Bird, something like that, to get the
Yeah,
tailwind and then kind of off itself. And then also, if like the opponent's draft is meaning to play the long game, it can still try to set hazards on them.
that'll be good. Just 6 teams being a longer game, hazards will be nice for that. Just good defense to add to the team is nice.
Yeah, and then like its main thing is probably going to be weak armor offensive, but probably more often than not, it's going to be like tailwind.
Clef Key's also pretty nice for that. Like just they're just both really good steel types. I think Clef Key, on the other hand, in comparison's more utility focused. It could also get hazards up, but I think it's gonna want to use Prankster a lot more for other things like T Wave.
Yeah, I think it always uses Prankster. So I think probably what's going to be doing more often than not is probably foregoing its protect move and running something like Dazzling Gleam, T Wave, and then probably Light Screen Reflect.
Yeah, spread coverage is gonna be really good for this thing, and also it gets screens. Yeah, so having Prankster with screens is gonna be really nice.
And then it can also help Skarmory with setting up hazards against teams that want to play the long game.
Yeah, just in case Skarmory wasn't enough.
Next, we have Wailord.
Yeah,
And this is probably just going to be used for like end game water spout shenanigans.
yeah, mini Kyogre. Just good water coverage since the team doesn't have that yet. So Wailord's nice for that.
Yep, Wailord is definitely a Wailord.
I don't
Um,
I don't really
we
have
don't,
much else to say about him.
yeah, we don't have much
Yeah,
to say about this dude.
I think he cooks though. He has one thing that he could do and he's gonna do it really well.
And then after that, we have Stoutland, which is amazing. It has
Yeah.
Scrappy to hit ghost types and making it immune to Intimidate. It has Intimidate itself.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be wanting to run Intimidate most of the time, but I'm trying to I'm trying to think like for other teams who have like a really good ghost type in their arsenal, they might want to run Scrappy for that. But
Like that
other than that, yeah.
Spectria.
Yeah. Other than that, Intimidate, it's kinda just got pretty nice stats overall. It's got good defense to help with Intimidate. It's not super fast, but it's alright for that. I think it's mostly just here to utilize Intimidate though.
Hmm. I definitely agree with that. I think I could definitely see it running like an Assault Vest set too, with like Intimidate, Assault Vest, a decent amount of special defense, some speed, some attack, and using like Body Slam to try to paralyze stuff. It also has Psychic Fangs to destroy screens.
Yeah, I think yeah, if he wants to have Psychic Fangs on something that doesn't want to bring Gouging Fire, Stoutland could do, or if he just doesn't want to run it on Gouging Fire, Stoutland would be nice for that. It
Yeah,
also just gets some nice coverages as well.
that's 100% correct. The other thing is like you could run like Choice Scarf Stoutland with After You, and then like Choice Specs Wailord with max special attack. So then if you get them both out, let's say you sack off your Skarmory, you have Stoutland out, and you're using After You, then you get Wailord out, and then you spam like Choice Specs Water Spouts.
I like that. I could see that. I could see that happening.
Then after that, we have Toad Scroll. This
Yeah,
thing is mainly going to be using Rage Powder and Spore, maybe with a semi-fast Earth Power.
it's got really nice speed. That yeah, no, this thing's faster than Stoutland, so that really nice speed, really nice special defense. Grass ground is nice to have, like you said. It just from being fast at utilizing Spore will be really nice.
Though Mycelium might does make its status moves have negative priority, but will bypass things like Sap Sipper and Sweet Veil.
I don't know if it gets any other abilities, but if it wants to take that
It only has
into account,
Mycelium,
I
right?
think it's okay. That'll be nice for a lot. I feel like a lot of teams are playing around Spore, so I think Toadscruel's sort of that, reverse to your reverse sort of thing.
Yeah, like I play Uno Reverse card, but wait, they also have a Uno Reverse card.
Yeah, pretty much. He's kind of like just the nah, and just sort of like the nah, I'm gonna do it anyway sort of thing. I think Toadscruel is a nice addition for this.
There's also Drapion here, which is like This weird, kind of offensive, kind of defensive mon. I could see it getting some use of like swords dance, knockoff type stuff. Some poison jabs, maybe a gunk shot.
Yeah, he's just really strong. He could also set up toxic spikes, which is nice if you wanna add on to what Skarmory and Klefki already have going. He's kind of just got a lot of good physical attacks, so pretty good for that. If he really wants to just deal a lot of damage, and it doesn't really have any like spread coverage, but he has Sniper, which is nice. When I used to play a lot of draft, I would run Drapion with Sniper and cross poison all the time, and it would do crazy damage. So
Yeah, I could definitely see them going with that, and then trying to crit things I would normally be trying to set up on it.
and then I think poison's just a nice coverage this team hasn't gotten a hold of yet. So Drapion's good for that.
And then last but not least, we have Crocolore.
Yeah, so immediately I saw Unaware, which is nice on it. It's also it could also run Eviolite pretty well. And I think it also gets Heat Wave, so good Heat Wave coverage.
Yeah, it does get Heat Wave. I see it probably running like Protect, Slack Off, offensive move like Heat Wave or Flamethrower, and then either Yawn or Will-Wisp. I hope we see it, but I don't think we will see it very many
Yeah.
times because it's just not very good in doubles.
I don't know, I feel like Pokemon like Crocodile are kind of just the ones that you bring out pretty later. You like bring it out for like one game, it freaking it cooks and then it leaves for the rest of the draft, but you always remember it after that. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm excited to see if Crocodile shows up at all because it can do something. It's just unlikely to, but
yeah.
it's not a bad addition. I think it can work really well.
So one thing I see about this team is that like everything on it needs support in one way or another, but there's always something else on the team that can provide that support.
Yeah, I think it's just really good at helping itself, which I think in doubles is really important. And I think since you could bring you have all six of your mons, and I think the more mons the better you can help each other out.
Okay, this one is the Massachusetts Mudkips, and this one's actually Icy's team. So first we have Connie. I see stuff like Tailwind Memento stuff with that. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of just meant to be baby Whimsicott, and Whimsicott's a double staple easily. Like not so much in Scarlet and Violet right now, but with just it being able to utilize Prankster is really nice. Just Prankster Tailwind in general. I think it also gets Pollen Puff. I'm pretty sure it's got just a nice oh, okay, my bad.
I think its
It also gets
evolution gives Pollen Puff. I don't think
Yeah.
it's not
Okay, if
that.
I confuse something for Whimsicott, Switcheroo's also really good for it. Taunt is really good for it. It kind of, yeah, kind of just wants to utilize anything that Prankster can let it use, and it could also. This team has a lot of other Eviolite mons, but if Cotton would like to utilize Eviolite as well, or it could utilize like Focus Sash as
I
well.
think
That
you
would.
probably utilize Focus Dash on this, so you can utilize Eviolite on something else.
Yeah, that's true. It also gets Memento, which I feel like Cottoney's not really meant to stick around for too long just because it's a pre-evo with pretty low stats. So I think once it gets its tailwind up, it taunts a few times, it gets the hazards out. I think Memento would be real is also really nice on it.
Yeah, I think you probably don't even have an attack on this, and then
Yeah.
just run like Taunt, Encore, Tailwind, Memento.
A lot of variety of stuff. I think Prankster just carries this thing. It's letting it show up and be good here. So which is
Yeah.
which is fine. You sometimes that's just Cottoney's thing. Sometimes you just need prankster to go off.
Then the next one we have is Baby Incineroar, otherwise known as Torcat. I don't see this one being super good. It has everything, it's faster than Incineroar, and it has everything Incineroar has besides for the dark typing. I think not having that dark typing is a really bad thing, and it also has a very little bulk.
Yeah, Incineroar kind of takes it a lot of advantage against that. That doesn't stop it from doing and from still doing stuff though. I think Torracat was still a nice pick for this team. As long as they be careful with Torracat and utilize utilize all the things that it has from Incineroar really well.
Yeah,
It could still be a huge problem for opponents.
yeah, I completely agree with that. It just needs to be positioned correctly.
I think Eviolite could help with it as well.
Yeah, if you aren't going to be using the UV light and something else. Then the next one we have is Parasect, which is surprisingly annoying in this tier. It has base 95 attack, which makes it fairly offensive with Leech Life, and Leech Life also heals it. Then it also has like Rage, Powder, Spore, Wild Guard, Protect. Typically, you don't run both Wild Guard and Protect on the same Parasect set, but like it has stuff going for it, and I think it can be extremely annoying.
I think you said everything. I think he's here to just be a really nice Amoonguss replacement, which that's what I'm seeing a lot on this team. It's like a lot of stuff that you would normally have on a VGC team, but found on Pokemon that you normally wouldn't use, which is cool.
And then the next one is Frostlass. This is a very fast Icy Wind user with like Shadow Ball, Destiny Bond, some spikes if you're fighting a really defensive team. I think this is supposed to kind of be the Regieleki replacement.
I'm mostly just seeing Icy when a lot of their teammates don't have great speed, so I think Icy Wind will help with that a lot. I think just looking at the team so far, if this person wants any kind of speed control at all, then they need Frostlass with them. And having a ghost type is also really nice as well.
And then you always have like Destiny Bond. So if they do end up killing you, you can take them down with you.
Does it get Perish Song? Is that a Frostlass thing?
No,
Okay, I didn't think so, but I just want to make sure. But yeah, that'll be nice. I feel like a lot of Pokemon that are in this draft are like really strong and can kind of single-handedly threaten the whole game. So if Frostlass really needs to, it can Destiny Bond them.
I think it has a lot of good supporting moves it can use. So I think
Yeah.
that's a really good like supporting pick, and it's supposed to kind of be like a Regieleki replacement type thing for that speed control factor. Okay, then the next one we have is Slagoo Hisui. Did this person pick any restricteds? They did,
Oh
okay.
yeah, they're just later on. Um,
Yeah, they were the last two picks, or the second to last two picks they chose.
I think Sliggoo's nice though. Just Steel Dragon's pretty good typing. Sap Sipper's nice. I'm not sure what other abilities it gets. But it's still got really nice bulk with its typing.
It
Shell
gets like
Armor's
Salama and Gooey.
I think Gooey would be pretty nice for speed control since this team needs more of that. But I think if you're not really planning on utilizing both Sap Sipper and Gooey rely on you getting hit. I if you're not really planning on utilizing those two, I think Shell Armor is just nice to have, and it would also help it last longer.
Yeah, I
I
agree with that. Another thing is this thing can come out, threaten some stuff out with like Draco or like Flash Cannon. But then the other thing it has Life Dew and Acid Spray. So it can also be good supporting moves too.
and Gyro Ball, which and no, I think that's it. Yeah. Just because it's really slow, if this team doesn't want to do speed coverage, you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, it has Infestation Muddy Water as well.
It's got stuff to utilize. No, all I was gonna say is I think if anything on your team you want to give Eviolite on Sliggoo, but
I 100% agree with
yeah.
that.
At the same time though, I feel like because Sliggoo already has like pretty nice defenses that you could also save it for something else as well. But if you're more likely than not, you're gonna give it to Sliggoo.
Or Thraki that's down here.
Yeah.
Next we have Dragalge. This thing's a menace. You can pair this up with Sliggoo and have adaptability like Choice Spec Sludge Waves hitting the entire opposing side. with Slegu Hisui using like Life Dew to make sure Dragalge doesn't go down. I also see things like Flip Turn. This has like Draco Media adaptability with like Sludge Bomb Protect type stuff. I think this is going to be a really deadly mon to go up against if you
Yeah.
can't like kill it decently quickly.
Yeah, I think Dragalge was needed just because there's just a lot of pre-evolution. Like I think so far the team's just been packing a lot of utility. I think it just needed a lot more defense and power, and I think Dragalge's really good for that. I know he's got other mons that we haven't gone over yet that do those things as well, but also just having an adaptability mon's really good, and Flip Turn's really nice as well to give it some momentum. I think it could go really well with some other mons like Thwacky and
I think this will be really scary to go up against.
yeah.
After that, we have Dragalge, but different, as in we have Primarina. It feels that same kind of bulky. These stats are also pretty similar, but it feels that same type of like slow, bulky special attacker that has good special defense.
Yeah, and
This one just happens to use Moonblast and Hyper Voice over like Draco and Sludge Bomb with
yeah,
adaptability.
and it's also got a really nice defensive typing as well. And I feel like you covered it pretty well, but I could see you just bringing both of them at the same time.
Yeah, especially with the team they're doing, I could definitely see that. Then after that we have Thwacky, which is like this mini Rillaboom. That's basically just what you use it for, mini
Yeah.
Rillaboom.
So more discount like VGC Pokemon. I think Thwacky's nice. I think if you're not gonna put Eviolite on Sliggy, you want to put Eviolite on Thwacky, and just letting it have terrain out is really nice for the two mons mentioned before because it'll give them nice passive healing, and then Thwacky also just getting priority off of that, and then I also mentioned earlier it being able to pivot well with Dragalge since Dragalge has Flip Turn and Thwacky has U-turn, so I think they're a really nice pairing for each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it also has like a fake out too.
Yeah, it has everything Rillaboom has. Like, yeah, that's on like base 80 attack and 8 or base 85 attack and base 80 speed, but that's not something to underestimate. I think Thwacky's gonna be really nice for this team.
And then after Thwacky, we have our first restricted in Sneasler. I feel like both of these restricteds are supposed to do about the same thing. It's just Sneasler is faster and more offensive, while Zero does it more bulkily. But they're supposed to both be fast, physical, offensive threats that kind of shore up the speed stats of their team to make it so they won't just be outsped and brutalized by like
Yeah.
teams.
No, this has been a very slow draft so far, so having Sneasler on their team also Sneasler's kind of just cracked on the offensive side. Like this thing's probably gonna be taking most of the kills um for Massachusetts. I think also just because it has Pokemon like Primarina and Dragalge to back it up support wise is really nice. It having it just show up in close combat something is just gonna be really nice. I think it also gets U-turn, so I mentioned it pivoting well with its teammate, or I mentioned its teammates pivoting well with it.
Yeah, it does, and then also has Poison Touch to leave more bulky
Yeah.
foes ruined.
Yes, that'll be really nice just because a lot of its moves have contact.
Yep, and then Zaru does the same thing except doesn't poison, but it's more bulky, so it can switch in a bit easier.
Yeah, which is nice, but this team already has a lot of grass types on it, so I there's still good reasons to use Zarude. The dark coverage is really nice and it hasn't happened yet. I think he gets Sucker Punch, correct me if I'm wrong, but that'll be nice. I know it
It
gets U
doesn't.
okay, it doesn't. It still gets U-turn and it also gets Stab Trailblaze, which is nice. Um
Yep, it also has like Throat Chop too.
yeah, Throat Chop's pretty good. It just has really nice physical moves, so I
It also pairs well with Thwacky, with Thwacky boosting grass moves with its train. Also, I'm pretty sure it gets Grassy Glide. It does.
yeah, so having grassy terrain up will be really nice for Zarude. If you, I think when team building, it just really depends on how well grass does against their opponent because I feel like between Zarude and Sneasler, either way, they can rip through pretty well.
And then finally, the last one is Shuckle. I think this is just for Stealth Rock Sticky Web shenanigans, and then maybe some Infestation to keep things trapped in, and maybe some Encore to stop things from spamming, or stop things from using super thin, like changing like the thinning moves. Though another thing that they could be doing is they could be running Contrary, that's Gluttony, Contrary with Shell Smash, making it just a defensive powerhouse.
That'll be nice for it. I think you said it all there. So it'll be nice to have another defensive switch in for it, especially with mons that might not be able to take as many hits like Sneasler.
I think this team is gonna do kind of poorly against some teams, but it's really bulky, so it can maybe get around some of its things. And it does at least have a couple of fast offensive things to try to threaten the opposing side. Okay, we have Smelly Darkrai here, piloted by a very own Fugrid. Now, the first one he picked was Hydrapple. This thing is going to be used for it has Regenerator, but it's going to probably be primarily used for Super Sweet Syrup. It has moves like what's it called? Draco Beam and a Fickle Beam, which is going to be a good one. It has stuff like Giga Drain, Draco, just good supporting moves, Sucker Punch too, Breaking Swipe. But it's going to probably be used for Super Sweet Syrup because we have things like Deoxys Speed with Hypnosis. The more important thing is down here we do have Darkrai with Dark Void.
That's gonna be really nice to have. And then even if you do want to run Regenerator, I think it'll be good if you want to keep it going for long. But like you said, I think Super Sweet Syrup's gonna be its thing most of the time.
But yeah, after that, we're gonna have Deoxys Speed. It's one of the two restricteds, I think. Yeah, two
Yeah, that
restricteds.
and Darkrai, which crazy for him to have. I think Deoxys Speed is gonna be really good. There's so much speed control going around, but I don't think Deoxys Speed cares at all. Like you can do whatever you want to it. Like obviously Trick Room exists, but like any other method, like it's just gonna go fast anyway.
Yeah, but no, here's the other thing. You can't counter this with Trick Room because this has Imprison and Trick Room.
Oh, true, true.
So if
Yeah,
you're running
so
a
like
Trick Room team, your Trick Room setter will suddenly have its Trick Room and Protect just disabled.
yeah, and so Deoxys Speed is nice for that, and otherwise it kind of just gets to do what it wants because it goes first all the time. So that's a really good restricted pick on him.
It's also going to be very good at supporting its allies too with speed control along with other things. Like it just has every move under the sun basically.
You can do so much with Deoxys Speed.
Then we have Raichu. Um, it has Static and Lightning Rod. Depending on where you're going up against, you're going to be wanting to use different ones. But this thing has like Follow Me, Fake Out, Nuzzle, Vote Switch, and then just Thunderbolt would probably do a decent amount of damage.
Just really nice to have, and for everything you said, I think Nuzzle because I know I mentioned Deoxys Speed getting to do whatever it wants, but if you for some reason need to bring Darkrai instead, or you want to bring, or everything else on your draft is still going to need to outspeed things, and I think Raichu having Nuzzle and also just being really fast is good for that.
Then after Raichu, we have Vigoroth. This thing is probably just going to be a somewhat bulky Eviolite user that uses like Encore and Taunt to mess with its opponents while setting up, maybe using some bulk ups, but probably using like Body Slam and refusing to fall asleep.
I think you said most of it. I also saw it getting Sucker Punch, and I thought I saw Yawn, but I think
You
Sucker
did.
Punch.
Yeah, Sucker Punch would be pretty nice on it
Yeah.
too.
Vital Spirit's also pretty nice. Just again because Spore.
Then we have Lidoran. So this thing has Hustle.
Just having Bug Steal is crazy. Hustle is crazy. It's really fast, which is nice. So it's kind of just here to show up in wreck house.
Yeah, it's here to show up. It also has Phone Claws if it needs to raise its accuracy. But also they have super sweet syrup, so they can also lower their opponent's evasion.
Yeah, I think Durant and Hydrapple are a really nice pairing.
I don't think there's all too much to say. It's just a really fast, really good offensive bug steal
Yeah,
type.
I think its type kind of is gonna be really nice here though, just because it's only weak to fire, so I think Durant's just gonna be really nice to just switch into whatever specifically physical attackers you have
And
and
speaking of the fact that it's only weak to fire types and it has a low special defense, the next one is actually Tentacle.
good pairing for Durant. It's also nice for hazard removal. It can get toxic spikes up. It's also just got nice water coverage too.
Yeah, this could definitely threaten some things if Skull just Sludge Bomb.
So good switching for that. I feel like a lot of mons on this draft is pretty specially weak, so having Tentacruel to pivot into is nice.
And this also has like Icy Wind. Now they have Darkrai. This thing is Dark Void, re-threatening special attacks with like Dark Pulse, Psychic.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier Super Sweet Syrup's gonna help with that a lot, so and so that's good. I think just with Dark Void's accuracy, it'll hopefully make it pretty usable. Also, just this team doesn't have a dark type yet, and I think that's good to have dark, right? And even if you don't bring a Hydrapple to help utilize Dark Void, you still have good special attack and speed on Darkrai.
And like you could also utilize something like Dark Pulse, Nasty Plot, Dark Void Attack, and then use like Dark Void. And if you sleep over the opponents, you just get to like Nasty Plot and Dark Pulse something. Next would be Free Alligator, and this is like a sheer force Dragon Dancer, using like liquidation on opponents.
Yeah, so really strong. Aqua Jet's gonna be really nice for it. I think it also gets flip turn. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
It does.
okay, that's
I'm
gonna
not
be that's gonna be
100% sure
really
if you'll
nice.
be running Flipton because I think you might go Liquidation, Ice Punch, Dragon Dance, Protect. But Flipton would definitely be good on it.
Yeah, I think for Alligator would just be really nice to be able to utilize that with. Also, just because I don't think this team has had a lot of Pokemon that have moves to switch them out with. So I think for Alligator's nice for that. I think utilizing Sheer Force will be really nice for this, for especially if it needs stronger water coverage. Because I know Tentacle's already pretty good for that, but for Alligator will be nice as well.
Charjabug, what do you think about it?
So far, nothing on this team has been able to utilize Eviolites. That'll be nice for it. For Chargeberry, I think speed control
Vigoroth
be
can use Eviolite.
right. Sorry. Having sticky webs will be really nice. In case you don't want to bring Raichu for some reason, you can utilize that. I think it also gets discharge, which would be pretty cool and pretty good coverage as well.
It does. Does it?
Yeah, and Volt Switch for
Yes.
and Volt Switch for pivoting as well.
Yeah, also has Lunge, which does decent
Oh,
damage and lowers attack.
oh, true. Okay, that's also nice.
I think it also has Skittersmack, which is basically just the special variant of that. It does.
Yeah, I think I would rather use its physical variant though. Unless you also want to run it with discharge and spec into special attack, but it's got pretty low special attack, so
Yeah. It also has a battery.
oh that's true. That's pretty good then. You can probably utilize that then.
Yeah, especially since you have like Darkrai on your team. You have like
Yeah,
Hydrapple, you have like Raichu, Tentacle. Then the last one they chose is Rapid Dash Gala. You're never running away on it. You're always doing Passo Veil because it does just cure poison. But this is just a fast physical attacker. You're running like Play Rough. You're running like a Zen Headbutt. And then you're also making use of Super Sweet Syrup because you're running those.
I think you said it nicely. Also just nice fairy coverage, and if you're running a team with Darkrai instead of Deoxys Speed, it's got nice psychic coverage for that as well. And even though it's no Deoxys speed, it's still fast on its own. So if you have Raichu as well, it could make use of its speed as well. Yeah, so good last member to have.
Okay, everyone. And this last team is TSD, manned by your very own Blue. So we have Pelipper here. What do you think about that?
Um, it's Pelipper, so obviously starting with the rain setup, which is nice. Pelipper also kind of just doesn't like to die at all, which is good. It has Roost to help with that. It could also make use of Hurricane, which is really nice. It should I think it also gets Surf, which will be nice for spread moves, but
Yeah, I didn't choose anything to help. I guess I have Shiinotic that can tank as stuff.
that's all right though. I think even without utilizing it, I think Pelipper's already crazy.
It has like a
Yeah.
Weather Ball and Scald too.
Scald's pretty nice on it. And then it's also a really good pairing with Thunderous Therian. Just to have an electric type that um with it. It's also just really fast and really strong specially, and utilizing Thunder in the rain is already gonna go crazy. But even if there is no rain, it should also get Discharge, which will be nice for spread coverage as well.
Yeah, so Thunderous Therian is my only restricted on this team, but has really high special attack. So even if I don't bring rain, I might just use it as like a choice scoffer to just outspeed some like major threats to take down. A general like thought on the on like this type of thing is if you're able to trade one of your non-restricteds for their restricted, that's almost always gonna be a good trade because the restricted is almost always gonna be better than most of your team.
So having Thunderous Therian is really nice. It's probably the best thing. I mean, the best thing on here. I mean, like you said, it is restricted.
Next we have Espathra, which I picked up not because of Opportunist, but because it has Frisk and Speed Boost, which are both good. And it also has Psychic Train, so I can memory sub Psychic Train and still be faster than everything. And then it also has stuff like Lumina class, Gravity, Hypnosis type things, so it's going to be really good for supporting my team.
Yeah, that's really good. I think I mentioned way back, like during one of the first few teams, about being able to see items. So I think Speed Boost would be the best option, but if you wanna do some item play as well, Frisk is nice for that.
After that, I chose Spirit Tomb. The reasoning behind that is because it's really bulky, it's kind of slow, and it's also immune to fake out. But then the other thing is it allows my team to have a Trick Room mode. This is the second Pokemon on my team that can actually function under Trick Room, the first being Pelipper. Most of my team can function under Tailwind pretty well, but some of them are just slow enough to also function under Trick Room.
Yeah, and I think I think Dark Ghost are just two really good types to have as well. I think that's all I have to say about Spiritomb.
Okay, the next one we have is Espeon. This thing has Expanding Force, which means if I pair it with Expatha and make Expatha outspeed it, I can Psychic Train Expanding Force immediately. But then I also have things like options like Dual Screens, Psychic Fangs, Psychic Noise, like Dazzling Gleams, Psychic, just standard evolutions, just like standard evolution stuff.
Yeah, and just a lot of strong special coverage too, which is nice on Espeon, so
Yep, and Magic
and Mag
Bounce.
yeah, and Magic Bounce is really nice to utilize too.
Afterwards, we have Electivire. I kind of picked this because I wanted a follow me user, and I also needed something else that I could use under Trick Room. Like, this is really fast, but I could just put 0 IVs in it, minus speed, and then if they don't know I'm bringing Trick Room, it will still outspeed stuff.
And so that's really nice. You could still utilize it for that. Vital Spirit's also really nice for Spore. If your opponent's
Mhm.
team has a lot of electric coverage, then Motor Drive's nice as well. Like Fighter's also just got really good attacking stats, so it can hit a lot of things really nicely, especially physical.
Yeah, and it actually has a good electric physical move now in Supercell Slam. Supercell
That
Slam is basically just electric type jump kick.
yeah, that's cool. And like you said, it also has follow me, and I think if you want to get Brick Room set up on a spa throw, that's really nice too.
Yeah, or on Spirit Tomb.
Yeah, or you did say Spirit Team, my bad.
Afterwards, we have Gardevoir, which can also function under Trick Room, but it's really good at functioning in like Choice Scarf type stuff. You have Trace, you have Telepathy too. Telepathy is really good if I want to do like Earthquake and Electivire or just anything like that, Surf and Veluza. And then we also have Expanding Force. If I go a spot where I go like Speed Boost, Choice Scarf Gardevoir, Choice Specs Gardevoir would both work. Go like Expanding Force, doing more Expanding Force shenanigans. It still functions under Trick Room, it still functions under Tailwind.
Yes, that's nice. And it's got fairy coverage too, which is good.
Beats those pesky dark types that would kill my expanding force strategies. After that, we have Veluza. My thinking about that is because I have Rain and then I have Psychic Train as my two things, and Veluza functions well in both of them. And then it also can make use of redirect other Pokemon's redirection in Filler Array, and then it also functions well under Tailwind and Trick Room.
And it's just pretty strong too, so
And it has like Sharpness, Aqua Cutter, Psycho Cut, and then also Psychic Things.
so yeah, really good addition for the kind of team that you've got so far. And water coverage is just really nice too.
Yeah, actually making more use of that rain. After
Yeah.
Veluza, we actually have Shiinotic. This thing has Spotlight, which is basically just follow me. But then it also has things like Spore and Pollen Puff and Protect, and just really good supporting moves.
Yeah, really nice and really nice support. I think that's what out of three Spore users now, and so that's one of them. Rain Dish is also really nice, and it's
Mhm.
just tanky, and Grass is just really nice to have as well since it hasn't been used yet.
And the other thing is, this will get really scary on the Trick Room because it's so slow and it has Spore.
Yeah, so if you get Trick Room set up, it'll be able to fire off Spore much faster.
Do you have anything else to say about it? Okay, the next one is Ditto. So there's not much to say about Ditto, but what I was hoping for is if I saw my opponent has a really strong restricted, I can essentially just have two restricteds if I send Ditto in and it copies the opposing restricted.
And that'll be really good just because the restricteds are really good on most of the teams. And I think they're gonna be the biggest threats out of all the teams in general. So being able to sort of have two by utilizing Ditto is pretty nice.
And then after Ditto, we have Cinder Scorch. Now, obviously, this doesn't fit very well on my rain aspect, but it does fit fine on Psychic Strain. It fits fine under Tailwind and Trick Room.
Yeah. And it
It's,
also gives you the fire, water, grass core, which is good to have.
it's also really scary if I decide to go like Veluza and then this and put like a Choice Scarf on it with Fire Lash. I can use Fire Lash to lower something's defense before hitting it really hard with a like sharpness boosted move from Veluza.
Yeah, so good synergy there. I think just anything physical that you have is also really nice for Fire Lash, which so yeah, mostly Veluza. I think Center Scorch also just gets a lot of good physical moves as well. It also gets Coil if you want to set up with it. And I don't know how much fire would be brought against this team since it's rain, but to have Flash Fire for that is nice.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be running Right Smoke typically because that actually stops Intimidate.
And that is better. So yeah, I still think Center Scorch is a solid mod.
Thank you, Pancakers, for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. Bye bye.